Hello and welcome to It's a Woman's World. I am your host, Jamela Pettiford, and today we are talking about the spiritual power of music, and all of the energy that it brings and how it brings people together. Not only music, but the power of a woman who has a vision to change the world, one song, one lyric, one rhyme at a time. And so we welcome our beautiful guest that is with us. But let me start with my powerful co host, Barbara Lavalore. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I am so excited to have Mary with us today to share her with the world.
Yes, and thank you, Barbara. Uh, Candy Pettiford.
I am excited to be here because I want to hear what Mary has to say, and maybe she might even sing for us.
Thank you, Candy. And of course, Nadia Jordana. Welcome, Nadia.
Thank you, and I'm glad to be here. I have been waiting for many years to be on the same show as Mary Harris, so I am delighted.
Me too. Thank
Oh,
you.
and Mary Harris. Welcome to It's a Woman's World.
Thank you. I feel very welcome and very much at home. So I thank you all for that.
Yes, well, thank you for being on with us. Well,
Mhm.
let's go ahead and get started because the time always goes by so fast, and you have such a beautiful, impactful life. We want to make sure we hit on all of it. Well, I usually like to start at the beginning. As a musician myself, the sound of music that comes from the inside of our bodies.
Mhm.
When did you know? When was that moment that you knew I want to sing?
That's a great question. And I don't know that I don't have an answer because
Mm,
I saying that I think it was just life. I grew
mm.
up I have a sister and a brother and that we sang together. And we grew up in a Black Baptist church in Moline, Illinois. And one thing that was so incredible, the support that we got to be in front of people. Easter came, Christmas came, when it was a holiday, we had shows, you had your little Easter piece that you learned. And that's the only time I use the word little, just so you know. But it was just a little Easter piece. And we do our thing and then we sang together as a trio, the Harris children, I think they called us. And I will say my first solo was at age 9, I think. I did the little drummer boy, a cappella. That's a whole lot of rum pum pumming, honey.
Tell me about it.
Yes, yeah, and so that's I think I sing because I'm alive. I'm alive because I sing, and I'm alive because of art and creativity, and there's always something. There's always something to celebrate. Yeah.
Well, Mary, where did your mother fit in this? I mean, I'm hearing brothers and sisters. I know mom had to be somewhere around.
I don't know where I mean, she was alive, my mom and my dad. My dad plunked away at the piano a little bit. We had a piano. Oh, there's the word little again. He plunked on the piano, and sometimes he saying he was in the choir, I believe. Mama was chill. She was
Okay.
someplace being mama. She was someplace spreading love. She wasn't real demonstrative, or she wasn't loud. She's just in the background just chilling. But she was there. The love was there. That's what she provided, I'd say. Yeah. And I have no idea. My mom died in 72. My dad died in 77. So I have no idea if I don't know if she'd be surprised. She would be surprised at the life I went on and created. And my dad, he actually saw the band. My brother and I were in a 10-piece band that my brother started, co-started with someone. So my dad did come one night to the nightclub, and he kind of walked up to the front and stood by the bandstand, kind of like,
Mm.
So that's a pretty cool memory to have. Thanks.
Mary, we go back, I think 3 decades.
Yes.
I am proud to call you a friend.
Yeah.
You have sung so many beautiful songs. One of my favorite songs is one that you wrote, and you sang at the opening of one of my photo shows uh, locally. And I really appreciated that. But you have such a variety of talents. You're not only a singer and a songwriter, but you're an actress, you're a voice coach, you're a music director, you've been in movies, you've been in theater. One thing that I want to know, because I've never asked you, is are you writing your memoir? Have you thought about it? Is that in the future?
It's in the future. It's in the works. Yeah, yeah. And what's
Great.
cool is a publisher asked me if I had thought about writing a book. He said, "I'll help you." I mean, anybody can write a
Wow.
book, but you want you hope to get a publisher. He
Yeah.
approached me, so yes. Thank you for
Great.
asking.
Great.
Yeah.
What's the title going to be?
I don't know yet, because my signature song is entitled "Where I Am Today."
That's my song.
Yeah, that's just yeah. So that'll be in the mix somewhere, I think.
Great.
Yeah.
So as you're saying all this, who's going to play your part in the movie about you? Who would you like to see play a part? Because there's so many beautiful actresses out there. I can see you wanting somebody to play you very well.
Wow, that's a good question.
Well, you think about it throughout the show.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. My acting mentor used to say he'd see Queen Latifah on something. He said, "Mary," he had his accent. "Mary, you could have played that role. So maybe Latifah should play me. We'll find out." We'll find out. Thanks for asking that.
I have a question, Mary. Now I heard Barbara say you write songs, and I have to assume you play an instrument or two.
I play the piano.
Piano, okay. And when you write songs, do you work with the piano and the instrument? Is it I guess what I'm asking partly is it like writing poetry, or is songwriting a different animal?
That's a great question. For me, it's all the same. It's all the animal is creativity, and it's all the same. It just comes. I want to share one experience. I have a really great friend named Bruce Henry, extraordinary entertainer.
Yeah.
And I went in the studio with him decades ago. I was in the studio as a guest. And they were setting up and things, and I got a piece of paper and these lyrics came to me. So I jotted down this whole song and then took it home. And a year later, the music came. I thought that was it was almost a year to the day, the music came to go with those lyrics. So that was fun. And that song's called "You Should Be Just Who You Are." So that's part of my testimony too. People say, how do you have a successful life? First thing I tell people, keep on living. That's the first thing. And then be who you are, do what you love to do. Trust yourself, be yourself. Be yourself. We're still in a world that we're still pretty much socialized to be somebody else or be better than you are and live your best life. Hey, I get to declare it. Last Monday, I declared it the best day of my life. One Monday recently. And by the end of the day, my car didn't start. I went someplace to a big event and everybody was gone except the DJ. One other person was there. And my car wouldn't start. And it wasn't an upset car. This is the best day of my life. I can't be upset. And I took the steps within, between AAA, and which I didn't have to have him come because my friend looked under the hood and shook some wires and I started the car. But my point is, it was the best day of my life because I said so. Yeah. So, and then one of the song I want to speak about is my song "Where I Am Today." Now, I sat down at the piano and wrote the song, the lyrics and the music came to me all at one time. And it couldn't have taken more than 10 minutes. So it's pretty fun.
Oh my gosh.
Thanks.
And the power of music is truly it's universal. It is universal. And when it is inside of your body, it does come just naturally to you. Yeah. And as we can see, Mary, you have lived many different lives in this one life. And with every season that you have gone through, I know you've learned many different lessons. And for people who are looking to be seasoned and marinated well, not only in the music and theater and performing arts, but people who might be a little nervous, like you said, they haven't proclaimed it's their best day. They haven't found their best self. They're still searching. They're novice, but they want to be seasoned, much like you. Throughout these years, what is one thing that you would give a young person who feels that they're very much alive, much like you, and have all of the greatest potential, but are afraid to step out and find their voice and are afraid to allow the world to really see them and be vulnerable enough to be seen? What would you say as a summarization of all these seasons that you have gone through that has made you this fully seasoned person now?
Part of it is, that's a great question. Be willing, just be willing to be. I don't even say be willing to show up, but I am really glad that I realized years ago, whenever I show up, I get blessed. No matter where I am, no matter what the situation, no matter what the intention of the situation, I'm going to be blessed. But I would just say, listen to your heart. You got to trust yourself. At some point, you just really got to trust. And I think there might even be some, for lack of a better, like some tunnel vision involved, like really believe in yourself, trust yourself, and trust that you can trust yourself. That's a good one. I'm going to write that down. Trust that you can trust yourself. Because I'm self-employed entrepreneur, and there's days when I'm watching TV. And years ago, I'd be making myself wrong for watching TV. But I'm really clear that that's part of me being Mary Harris. I have a friend of mine, he loves me and he watches I'm in a lot of films. Some of them are, it's independent films and things that people invited me to do. And when he introduces me to people, he says, "This is Mary Harris. She does Mary Harris things." No, I like that. That's true. That's true. And so to bring that back around to my initial point, I embrace what I'm doing when I'm doing it. I can include watching television. I can include sitting. I love to sit. And I really got sitting as part of my power. And so I sit and I can allow that and I can be still. And I might be watching television or I might be looking out the window. I love looking out the window. And there are a lot of young people. Yeah, there's several young people that are really successful and always performing out there here in the Twin Cities and beyond. And every now and then I look and say, that child was on my couch. That child was on my because people sit either their voice clients, and they come in, I'm gonna have you sit down a minute, we're gonna talk a minute, Or if it's a reflexology client, or if it's somebody that just wanted some love, come sit on my couch. So that, Barbara, won't be the name of the book, but it's definitely the name of a project that I have. Yeah.
Or maybe a chapter in the book.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows?
Exactly. It might even be a workshop too. I create workshops. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
So-
I was wondering if you have a special or a favorite movie role or theater role, and why was it special, or why does it stand out in your memory for whatever reason?
Well, what a great question, because honey, I have to tell you, I'm in a podcast called Live from Mount Olympus. There's a organization called the Onassis Foundation. Onassis, as in Aristotle Onassis, that line, that family. They're in New York, and they do a lot of things. But during COVID, a lot of actors in New York, like actors everywhere, and all kind of people were out of work. So they created this podcast, and they're using Greek mythology, and it's just pretty amazing. It's really popular with tweens. Adults like it, but tweens are really into it. And my nephew is the writer. I thought he was a co-writer. He is the head writer. And there was a session where Persephone, the young woman Persephone, is sent into the underworld. And she's all got an attitude about it, and all like she don't want to be down there because it's dark and it's not what she's used to. And so they needed a guide for her. And so my nephew wrote this character called she's the goddess River Styx, Styx. And she comforts this young lady, but she ain't no coddler. She's like, the girl's complaining. She's like, well, how long you gonna be that way? Because I do that. I've coached a lot of people, and I've had people call me and I'm upset. That's okay. How long you gonna be upset? I don't have a problem with you being upset, but how you gonna be 5 minutes, 5 months, 5 days? Set a time on it. When the time is up, move on. And long story short, he wrote that a character. He wrote that character with me in mind. The showrunner, the woman that actually wrote the show, she just loved it. He said, "Well, those are things my Aunt Mary in Minneapolis says to me," and she said, "Well, keep channeling your Aunt Mary." So he wrote this. He wrote the episode. He got done, and then they were starting to look for actresses in New York and around. And he said, "Well, my Aunt Mary is a seasoned actress." You used the word seasoned to me, a seasoned actress in Minneapolis. So I sent them an audition tape, and they cast me. And so one thing I like about it was being cast as as far as I'm concerned, I was cast as myself. I consider myself a goddess. And so I love water. So the goddess river Styx. So that's important to me for that reason, because my nephew wrote it, because of the way it happened. But can I tell y'all one more thing?
Mm-hmm.
I think it could be a lesson for people that are set out to do your thing. So for an audition, you pretty much feel like you get your audition, that's your one shot. And I taped this on my laptop myself, and I did the audition, and I listened to it. I chose one of my takes and submitted it. But then I went back later that day and listened to it, and I listened to the audition from the ears of a director, and I listened to it through the ears of a listener, might be coming through the airwaves, right? And I thought I could do that different. I could do it better. So I did it again and chose it, and I resubmitted. A lot of people wouldn't have done that. A lot of people, oh no, they gonna think, what are they gonna think of me if I do that? I didn't care. I did care, actually. I did care, but I'm submitting this. I love being brilliant. Okay, just so y'all know, I consider myself brilliant, and part of being brilliant is being willing to organically let things happen. And I thought, I feel like I'm smart enough to submit it again, and maybe they won't accept it. But I wanted them to know that I took the time to think about it and think about the product that they were out to produce, really. And what's the best, highest and best we can do here. So I submit, and they loved it. And it was kind of fun because I was concerned. I called my nephew. I said, "Well, how should I sound? And should I do accent?" Sometimes I'll show up for an audition and I'll ask them straight up, "You want me to sound like a white woman? Because I'm an actor. I can be a white woman, or I can be a black woman. What you need from me?" My nephew said, "Mary, I wrote it. It's you." I can sound like me. Okay, good. So that's what I did, and now I'm heard all over the world as the goddess Styx. So thanks. That's a great question.
So many things have changed over the years. Now they have AI, and it used to be tapes and CDs and MP. What do you use now, or what do you miss about the older days that was kind of more smoother?
What was the last part of the question?
What was a little more smoother? Like, maybe doing tapes was easier, CDs, but now they've got AI and they've. So what would you say is kind of changed in your world now?
That's a good question, because a lot hasn't changed. Just like when I'm on the dance floor, I'm doing the same moves I did in 77 and it's still working, right? So I like that we can do things on Zoom, and I've actually started recording some voice sessions, which is great because I'm a voice student to have that. I haven't tapped into AI much. I'm not afraid of it. I'm kind of observing, and I'll do some studying up on it. It is different to not have, when you used to record things and be be on a reel to reel. So that was fun just to even hear it, the sound of it. So that's probably what I miss, maybe some of the sounds of the technology we had years ago. Oh, I hadn't thought about that, Candy. Thanks.
Yeah. I thought about that as you were talking.
Yeah. And it's amazing what people can do now.
Mary, you bring joy to people. I knew that the first moment I met you and we spoke. In fact, you spoke to me first. usually kind of a shy person. So people usually have to speak to me first, which you did. And we had a wonderful conversation. And I thought, this person is somebody to keep in my life. I never forgot, and we haven't hardly connected since then, so this is a delight today. But you bring people joy through your singing, your music, your performances, and a whole lot of other things that you do. What kind of things refuel you? What kind of things gives you that bucket of joy to share with other people?
Like that bucket of joy. We might have to bottle that. We have to market that. Sitting. Sitting has a lot to do with it. And good food came to mind when you said that. Like I have someone had some of the best food, whether it was in a fancy restaurant or a dive bar. And I've got several friends that are professional chefs. And so good food, good people. And I don't need a whole bunch of people. I love that I love that I love me. So that's another thing I would recommend for someone to be seasoned and have their dreams come true. If you can love yourself, embrace who you are, and accept all of that. Like years ago, I accepted that I'm corny. I felt really corny, but but it's like, okay, I can be corny. I do a thing on Tuesdays on Facebook called Tuesday Good News Day. And I allow people to put their good news on my page because, like, yeah, let's do this. And I did it a couple of years, and one New Year's Eve, I think it was, or first day of the next year, I was like, "Are you gonna do this again?" It's kind of corny, and I thought, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it again because I can be corny." And I've been in the grocery store, and I've had people say, "Girl, I like that Newsday thing you do, that Tuesday thing you do." Yeah, yeah. So that's good. And then I've had people tell me, Mary, on some Tuesdays, I don't have any good news. I know I can come to your page and hear somebody else's good news. And I thought, I'm providing a service. I'm providing a product, a service, something that can make a difference. I'm gonna keep on doing it. And it made a difference to embrace it. And it's not necessarily whether it's corny or not, I embraced me. So whether, if you're quirky, whatever you are, that's had a lot to do with me still having that bucket of joy. And then good food, good people dancing, doing what I love to do. So seriously, every Wednesday night, me and my roommate would go dancing. And I like house music, that thumping, drive some people crazy, but there's something about that. I've been known to be on a dance floor for an hour. Actually, once I was on the dance floor 2 hours straight. That makes a difference for me to do what I love to do. And things like this, be with people. Oh my goodness. And not to be thousands of people. I was alone Thanksgiving Day and it was fine. As long as I don't mind me a little holiday. As long as I got some tacos or some ribs or some something good that I want to have to eat, I'm good to go. And then I can talk to people and I can text people, and I do a lot of texting. It's actually an art form for me. I send a lot of love out through the phone. Yeah. In writing. So thanks,
Well,
Nat. Yeah, I do remember meeting you too. That was very grand, very grand. Yeah.
Well, Mary, it's always a pleasure to meet a person who has so much self-love and self-respect, and is not afraid to allow people to see their true, authentic self. I think that's what helps people to fall in love and to want to be around because it gives them permission to want to do the same, When I think about music and movies, I think about the soundtrack of our lives, whether you're going through a great time or the worst time, in your life. Music and theater and performing arts and movies really represents the tapestry of our lives. When you think about the soundtrack of your life and how it represents, what would you say would be your opening song? And what would you say would be your present song or movie that represents the tapestry of your life, the soundtrack or the movie reel of Mary Harris?
Ooh, child, that's a good question. And I must say, you are so art it's not even you're articulate, but this thank you for speaking the way you do. There's something about your presence. It's just it's interesting. All of y'all bring something, and it's a beautiful thing to be with y'all. Wow. Well, I was the youngest, so I was definitely I was alone. I was alone sometimes, not lonely, but alone. My brother and sister were closer in age. They had some of the same friends, some of the same teachers. So I don't know what the soundtrack would be like. The first part of the soundtrack might be like, oh, anybody here? Anybody here? But at some point I started showing up on the soundtrack was Here I Am, Stevie Wonder, Here I Am, Baby Sign Still Deliver. That's a really good question. But actually, my original song, Where I Am Today, that's the soundtrack. Because it says, may I say some of the lyrics?
Yes, please.
Where I am, where I wrote it one year. I think I was looking back at the past 12 months. And I said, where I was a year ago and where I am today certainly aren't the same place. One seems light years away. And I did meet a scientist that said, maybe that's not how you measure time, but that's okay. That's okay. Where I am today and where I'll be tomorrow certainly aren't the same place. There'll be lots more joy, a little more sorrow. Then the chorus says, there's something very special about where I am today. The reasons I arrived here are the steps I took along the way. If I had not started my journey and got lost along the way, I never would have arrived here where I am today. Yeah. So
what do you want to be remembered for? What does Mary Harris want to be remembered for?
For having fun. For having fun and shining a light. That's what I do. I radiate love. I tell people I'm sending vibrations of light, laughter, and love.
Where's that light come from? Where'd that light come from?
Oh, it's from spirit. It's from God. It's from spirit. Yeah.
Beautiful.
What can we say? We want to thank you, Mary Harris, for being with us, and for all of you who watched and viewed with us, and all of the co-hosts. Again, I am Jamela Pettiford, and what an honor to have you, Miss Mary Harris, to be a part of It's a Woman's World, because we know that women make the world go round. The songs that come from our heart, the songs that represent our life, are always with us. And so, Mary, we thank you. And we thank all of you for viewing with us. Remember, music is impactful. Be your authentic self and shine with the brilliance of the many seasonings of this life. And we will see you again on our next episode of It's a Woman's World.